We already know the going-ons, and if you follow university education, the universities are laying their lecturers off. What does this portend for our country, Honorable Speaker? I support this, and I say teachers who have done their work at individuation must be paid in time, because the output is already there. And Honorable Speaker, thank you for the time. I support.
Senator Mundigi.
Bwana Speaker, naunga Senator Esther Okinyuri mkono kwa vile amechangia mambo ya walimu. Mtu wa kuheshimika katika Kenya ni mwalimu, kwa sababu tunajua kule mashinani anafanya kazi yote. Pia tukifika mambo ya elimu, huwa anafunza kutoka mtoto wa chini mpaka wa juu, na tukisikia pahali anapata maruvuruvu ni wakati shule imefungwa, anaenda kusimamia mambo ya mtihani na mambo ya uchaguzi. Na tunastuka sana kama serikali ya Kenya haijawalipa. Tunaomba iwalipe, kwa sababu hata mwalimu tunasikia vile amenyanyashwa. Kama ni mambo ya kwenda kufunza palibali, anapata shinda, na wakati amepata marufuku kidogo anaenda kuangalia kwa mwezi mmoja, wakati amefunga shule, amewacha watoto yake apati hela zile amefanyia kazi. Kwa hivyo naunga mkono ifanywe upelelezi kuonekane ni kwa nini, na kwa sababu ya siku kidogo ionekane vile ataregeshwa pesa zake. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Ledama.
Mr. Speaker, there's a saying that says what is good for the goose is good for the gander. When any government institution is owed money, they rush into charging penalties and interest. I think that situation should be the same when it comes to the issue of paying teachers who take their time to go through papers and mark papers. And actually, in this case, it's even tougher because, Mr. Speaker, students pay to be able to take that exam. So the money is there. This is an issue that the Kenya National Examination Council is notorious. It has always delayed these payments. I want to request that this statement, Mr. Speaker, should go to an extent of the sponsor of that statement sponsoring a motion so that this House can pronounce itself. Because this House only pronounces itself through motions and bills. Sometimes when you look at the issue of the statement, yes, we will invite the Minister for Education and say, why is it that the Kenya National Examination Council is dilly-dallying when it comes to the issue of reimbursing teachers who have paid? So that we can have a finality on this issue. I think the most logical way is to be able to peg this with the amount of money which is paid by the students for them to take that exam. Those students don't take that exam. You know, in other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, if you lease an apartment, you put down a deposit, and that deposit is put in an escrow account. So the day when you're leaving, that escrow account is the one where your money, you get your money. So I think we need to be a bit creative and say that this money which is paid by the students to be able to take an exam, part of that money which is earmarked or budgeted to be used to pay for the teachers should be put in a special account, and then it is actually devolved further. You know, you'll be surprised. These are sometimes primary school teachers. You know, we are already paying them peanuts. We pay them peanuts. We don't really give a hoot in hell about their welfare. Yet that little amount of money that they take the time, they use their brain for them to be able to make ends meet or be able to sponsor one of their relatives to go to school, that money is delayed. Mr. Speaker, I want us to put ourselves in the shoes of those teachers. Suppose when we sit in this house, our sitting allowance is delayed. All of us will be complaining and will not be able to do anything. So I think I would like to request the sponsor of that statement to consider bringing a motion so that we have that issue in finality. And that motion should not only be passed here, but look for a brother or a sister in the lower house so that concurrently we can have these motions And this House can pronounce itself when it comes to issues of remunerations. So, Mr. Speaker, I support and I thank the Senator for bringing that matter to the attention of the Senate.
We move to the next statement. Senator Kathuri.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Loans, Transportation and Housing on concerns over reports of harassment and mistreatment of passengers carrying miraa while traveling on the Standard Gauge Railway (SGR). In the statement, the committee should, number one, state the justification for the harassment and mistreatment of passengers carrying miraa on the Standard Gauge Rail are not consuming it there alone. Given that miraa is recognized as a cash crop under the Crops Act of 2013 and is not listed as a prohibited item in the Madaraka Express passenger service conditions of carriage. Number two, indicate the measures in place by the management of SGR to improve professionalism in their client services in light of reported incidents of passengers being mistreated. And number three, state the steps the management of SGR is taking to ensure that its services remain attractive and competitive. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Chirange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want to support Senator Kathuri for this wonderful statement. The issue of miraa is very critical. It's one of the cash crop, Mr. Speaker, sir, and it's an important cash crop in the Meru community. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's very unfortunate that when we want to take our goods and services through SGR to offset the loan that was taken through Exim Bank and the China, as famously known as the road to Shanghai, Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that there is harassment. Mr. Speaker, we have had cases where people who run the SGR, including foreign nationals, what we call them expatriates, because I've always wondered what type of expatriates that come and collect fare as if we have to import everything from China. Mr. Speaker, sir, and this is not only about miraa farmers and miraa traders, Mr. Speaker. It's also about Kenyans that have been harassed, Mr. Speaker. There was cases where a number of workers that work with SGR were harassed until they were thrown out by the Chinese nationals who run SGR, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir,